discussing the NCERT class 10th economics chapter, the sectors of Indian economy. As we discussed in our previous lecture, the classification of economic activities, now we will discuss how to count goods and services. The very first we discuss about intermediate goods. The various production activities in all the three sectors produce a very large number of goods and services. To find out the performance of each sector, we will have to add up only the final goods and services produced by the sector. Value of intermediate good should not be added. Intermediate goods are those goods which are sold by one firm to another either for resale or for further processing. For example, to produce a sofa set, the carpenter uses wood, foam, cloth, spring, etc. All these goods are called intermediate goods. Now, how to count goods and services? This is a very important to understand to avoid any kind of double counting. So, what is double counting? What we need to do is we need to make sure that produce we are adding is added only once. So what is double counting? The counting is the value of a product more than once is called double counting. So let's take an example of the farmer. The farmer supplies wheat to the flour mill at the rate of rupees 8 per kg. The flour mill grinds the wheat and provides it to the biscuit factory at the rate of rupees 10 kg. And finally, this biscuit factory uses flour, sugar, ghee, etc. and packaging, and finally provide the packed biscuit at the rate of rupees 20 per packet. What does this mean? This packed biscuit would have the ingredient of wheat. The biscuit factory would again have the ingredient as wheat, flour mill again have ingredient as wheat, and the farmer is supplying wheat. So this wheat is added all the 4 steps. Now if I had take wheat at flour mill, that won't be a correct way to add it, because this wheat is again intermediate in packed biscuits. Whenever we are counting goods and services, it is very important that we go on for the final value is the counted, and final value is the packed biscuits would automatically included all the intermediate stages. So all the intermediate stages which will be using wheat would automatically included. So we are counting goods and services, we go for the final product and not for the intermediate product. That is very important concept to understand. Hope you all understand this concept. Our next topic is GDP. GDP is gross domestic product. Now, what is gross domestic product? Gross domestic products. GDP is the addition of the production that is generated through the primary activities and the secondary activities as well as the tertiary activities. So the value of all these final goods and services from all these 3 sectors would count towards the GDP. And when we talked about net domestic product, NDP would remove any kind of depreciation from this gross amount, and that would give you the net product. So you have the GDP, so GDP minus depreciation is equal to NDP, net domestic product. So any kind losses that you are ensuring that in the process would be subtract from the final values of goods and services, and that would lead you to the net domestic product. And this GDP help us understand how big the economy is. Now we will understand the classification of GDP based on various sectors. Like if we broadly talked about the various countries, in India is predominantly an agricultural land, so most of the people here are employed in agricultural sector. So primary sector becomes important. For China, it is manufacturing, that is important. If you take example of United States, it would be the tertiary sector or service sector. However, in India, trend is changing, and there is a shift from primary sector activities to tertiary sector activities. Now, the most important thing to note here is, however, there is a shift from the primary sector activities to tertiary sector activities, the employment we still have highest employment for primary sector activities. If we talked about the value of goods and services that we are producing, so you have GDP, you have the tertiary sector that contributes are highest. The fact that most of the people employed in primary sector, that means the employment in primary sector is extra. So there are extra people engaged in primary sector activities. Even I remove those, or I take those people away from the primary sector activities, my net output would not change. So that would be no impact on my output. That means you have a kind of disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment, last class में हमने पढ़ा था disguised unemployment क्या है. That in present in the primary sector. Now the tertiary sector is the largest producing in India since 2000. What is happening here? In villages, it was predominantly an agricultural based till now. The changing trends that are more services that are moving into villages. These services are in form of healthcare, education, banking, and all these kinds of activities and services. It is kind of service sector activities. Again, with the changing trend, you have kind of decentralization of industrial setup that is taking place, and smaller industries are being located in semi-urban or rural land. Therefore, you have numerous industrial sectors or secondary sector that is growing up in the nearby villages. Again, with the development of agriculture, there is a need to increase the transport, because whatever is produced must be transported and stored. So you have agricultural development, again need to development of tertiary sector. Again, with increased income, more people moving towards tourism, restaurants, etc. All these are tertiary sector activities. Again, we can say the idea of tertiary sector activities is nowadays increasing in India, and whatever new services are coming up, especially hubs like Bangalore, the information technology centers. So those are again the tertiary sector activities that are booming up.